I think what's clear, and thank you, Candy, and thank you for having me here today. I think what's clear is that we have a misconception of where our emissions are coming from. So I was shocked when we did the analysis of my own country, Nigeria, that it's not from the power sector, even though we have 45 gigawatts of diesel and petrol generation. It was actually from the cooking sector with the levels of deforestation. So when we're talking about climate, I find it very strange that nobody links clean cooking to it. So if you didn't care about the people, which clearly what Fatih says, 500,000 people dying doesn't get you moving, then maybe you can care about the planet and say that if we don't tackle clean cooking, then we cannot tackle climate change. It's a development issue at the end of the day, and it's very firm. And just like Fatih, I was outraged, not to talk about the gender-based violence figures, the fact that the firstborn in many families doesn't get to go to school because they have to go and get the fuel wood. There are all these knock-on social effects of, literally living a life in poverty. And what we're trying to do with just the basics of clean cooking is getting people out of poverty. So I think, having this at this big stage, and I do have to thank my team and, Mikkel as well for making this happen. I think we need to just all make a pledge that it can never go back to being the stepchild of electrification. That clean cooking is just as important, if not more important, than electrification. The figures Fatih said, if 500,000 people were even dying at war, we know what we would do. Right, and this is happening every single year, and unfortunately, for me, coming from a global south and being an African woman, it's even more depressing because it's almost like the world saying, because they're dying over there, it's not as much as an issue as if they were dying in another part of the world. So there are all these different social aspects of it that we really need to think of ourselves as a society and say, if we're all right with it, how do we move forward? But I just want to talk about the innovation of what's going on as well, and put some good news on how things are working. We see a lot of technology innovation. Right now, just in my home country, in Lagos, we're testing out all these electric cook stoves in markets with women who cook for a living. All that is working. Difna's doing an amazing job with the delivery units that she's embedding into governments to work on these issues. The Global Energy Alliance of People of Planet working together to make this a global electric cooking pledge and coalition, which we'll hear about later. And then, even the financing that's coming now is coming in from different people. I have some people in Kenya that is the tech companies that are paying, because if women are paying for services and you can meter them, then you can offer them so many other services. So I don't want people to look at clean cooking as, I gave someone a stove, which is what people thinking you should be so happy you have this stove. I think they need to look at it as electrification. You keep on evolving from it, and it is buying women, unfortunately, is women that suffer the most time for them to be more productive in society, meaning there will be GDP growth and then the knock-on effects of that. So coming back to especially what we're doing in Sierra Leone is, what is the green growth story with clean cooking? How is clean cooking the green growth story for Sierra Leone? And it's a different way to look at it, because we've always looked at it as big infrastructure and big projects. Those have to be done. But if you really want to meet the most vulnerable people and make sure your people are healthy and out of poverty, you have to tackle this issue.